This is where I bring back Mark Geragos to get me off the ledge, because I want to reach through the screen and, you know. Have you ever seen anything like this? The sheer hubris, the arrogance. I want my job back, even though my own department found out all these things about me.
I have, and let me tell you, don't be surprised if one or both of them don't get their job back. A lot of what I've seen over the last 40 years is they don't have a witness. They're going to give an explanation for an innocent explanation, supposedly, for what these texts meant, and there's not going to be anybody who's going to be able to undercut that. And that may be on the job front. If I were counseling them, and it's not like I have any inside information, but given the fact that the feds are involved and given the fact that there are wiretaps involved, I would be more worried about pursuing this course of conduct if I were them, because of the harm's way that the criminal justice system may still be out there for them. And that is what their real worry is. They are affirmatively trying to get their job back, which means they're not going to be able to assert a Fifth Amendment right not to testify. What that means is they can be cross-examined. And it wouldn't surprise me if you've got a U.S. attorney who's laying back and saying, you know, be careful for what you wish for, you two officers, because we're going to have a transcript and you're going to get asked questions, and you may lock yourself into something that you don't know the information that we have developed through either wiretaps or subpoenas or other such things. So I would be very, very careful if I were them.
I'm just absolutely astounded that they didn't take their licks and run. Lucky as blazes that they haven't suffered a worse fate, like charges. And like you said, maybe that's still coming. But I also want to ask you this. I don't know the Police Officers Standards and Training Commission. I have an idea of what they're about, but I assume that they have a reputation to uphold, and they don't want the stink of these three men on their organization. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you might be. I mean, there is a... I don't know this particular organization, so I don't want to throw shade at them in particular, but I will tell you that I have seen many a so-called policing of the police internally that is frankly shocking. You know, we've got a case in LA right now where the Attorney General criminally indicted a poor woman in the LADA's office whose big crime, so to speak, was that she had downloaded officer complaints into a database so that it could be disclosed to defense lawyers. So there's a lot of crazy things that happen in the criminal justice system in order to kind of protect, if you will, certain members of the criminal justice system.
Well, let me ask you, in your best estimation, given the facts that we know, and there could be all sorts of other facts we don't know, I assume there are, but when it comes to William Farwell and Robert Devine, the two who aren't charged with murder but want their jobs back, what could they be facing with a witness who is dead and potentially statutes of limitations that have expired?
Well, the thing that would worry me the most is what I was just kind of referencing. I would be worried about an obstruction. I would be worried about an accessory after the fact. I would be worried about anything that had to do with furthering this idea that it was a suicide, not a homicide. Because remember, the feds are now invested in the fact that this was a homicide, which means there was more than one person involved with trying to, if you believe their prosecutorial theory, there's more than one person who is involved in trying to orchestrate this so that it would be at least rolled out as a suicide. If that's the case, that means that more than one person is in the crosshairs of the feds. The criminal exposure is what I would be worried about if I were them.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.